and welcome to the Adrian Ross Show, a product of the BMG Network. So glad you're tuned in at thebmgnetwork.com, the BMG Network's YouTube channel, or a major podcast platform. It's time for another exemplary episode. So here we go. Well, you are in for another exemplary episode of the Adrian Ross Show. And I'm excited because I have a guest with me today. You may recall that the last episode of the Adrian Ross Show, I talked about leveling up in 2023. And I said that I really want to have more guests on the show. And this week, we do have a guest, but she's no stranger to the Adrian Ross Show. She's been here before. It's my good friend, Kristi King. And she was on the episode for my birthday when I had three of my friends on telling all kinds of secrets about me. And we laughed, and it was a great time. And I'm sure this will be a great time too, but a little bit more serious. I want to talk about music today. Now, I am totally not a music person. I'm just not a real music person. I mean, I know people who can, they know songs, they know artists, they find their inspiration in music. And of course, music is inspiring, it's very important, has always been in our world. And Kristi's on the front lines of music because Kristi is the business manager of KHIS. And I'm going to actually stop right here and I'm going to let Kristi King tell you what is KHIS and what is her role there specifically.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it. So it's kind of an honor to be on like this. So I appreciate it. I'm the business manager of KHIS Radio, and it is a local contemporary Christian music station that oversees a couple other radio stations as well, one in Illinois and one west of Cape Girardeau. And we play contemporary Christian music on KHIS, and then we play positive country on our sister station west of here in Marble Hill. And I'm honored to work for KHIS. It's a nonprofit. We are a business, but first and foremost, we are a ministry. And our main goal is to reach people with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that is through song and through whatever the DJs may say. I'm also a DJ on the radio station as well. I have a shift on Saturday afternoons from 12 to 6. So, but my main job is being the business manager. I take care of the finances and I literally see every penny that comes in and every penny that goes out. And it's such an honor to be a part of such a wonderful ministry because it really means a lot to so many people because music is the lifeline to a lot of people. They need that. That's the first thing they do when they get up is turn their radio on. I've heard many stories of people that have a small radio in their house and KHIS is on 24/7. They'll wake up in the middle of the night, KHIS is on, But but it's such an honor to be able to work for such an amazing ministry.
Well, obviously you feel that way. I see you're sporting your KHIS shirt.
I am.
Right? So you're a good representative, but why is it, do you think? Let's just step away from the radio station for a moment. What is it about music that makes people so drawn to it? First thing in the morning, they turn the music on. In the car, like you said, music just means so much to so many people. You have a background in music, which you're free to talk about as well. What is it about music that makes a radio station such as KHIS so important?
I think music is universal. Whether you know the language, just the music itself can move people. In fact, today, my pastor, Pastor Chad Fisher, he was saying today, he was talking about music and he was talking about the presence of God. And he was talking about, we all sing the same songs, and he said that he was in Russia And he was, I didn't know what they were saying, but I knew the song. I knew the melody of it. And he said, and it was powerful. And he was like, I knew that song, and brought him into the presence of God. And he didn't know what they were saying, but he knew the song. So music is just, it touches people's hearts. Lyrics, a lot of lyrics in Christian music is basically right out of the Bible. It worshipful music, and it brings people to it's like a lifeline to God, a connection to God, and that's their way of hearing from God. I have stories upon stories upon stories of people that have called in, and you know what? A song came up and it played exactly at the right time.
And we're going to get into that. I want to definitely get into that, because I want to hear some of those stories. You know, I'd like to hear that. Your background in music is what?
I play guitar, and I also play soprano saxophone. And my background, if you want to go real far back, my grandfather, he and my grandmother, King, on my dad's side, he played fiddle, and my grandmother played the keyboard, and they literally traveled Southeast Missouri going to senior centers and playing music for the senior citizens. And he would enter contests, fiddle contests, and win local fiddle contests, like at the SEMO District Fair and different things like that. So music has been a part of my life, literally my whole life. My dad plays fiddle. My mom, she doesn't play an instrument, but she always says I can play the radio. So, but there was a time that she really did have a good voice. She had gotten a really bad cold, and it damaged her vocal cords, and so now she can't sing as well as she would like to. But my brothers are in music; they all play instruments, and I was on the worship team at my church. So music is huge in my family. Just about everybody plays some kind of instrument or sings. So it's a big part of who I am. And I think that's one day I'd like to get back into playing on the worship team. I haven't played on the worship team in a few years. And so we'll see, maybe one day. Yeah,
absolutely. Now let's talk about those testimonies, because I happen to have volunteered several times for KHIS when you would do your share-a-thons,
right?
And which is always a great time, you know. And so I know what it is to sit there and answer phones, and people call in and they're making donations.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead. I was going to explain what a share-a-thon was, but you were working on it, so that's great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Keep the host on track. Yeah.
Well, no, I just thought people don't know what a share-a-thon.
Sure, I mean, I take it for granted, but right. So I'm answering the phones, and people are donating. They're calling in to become regular donors or one-time donors or anything like that. And people are driving down the road, they're pulling over, they want to make a donation, or people are at home and they want to make a donation, and they share. Invariably, you're going to hear stories about people who were touched by KHIS. So although I'm not a music person, meaning I don't wake up in the morning and turn the music on, you know, I am a worshiper. I know how important it is. I know how important it is to worship and to praise and all that. And I know how much it impacts people, because like I said, I picked up the phone. I've had to answer the phone. I've heard people talking about it. You hear it all the time. So what are some of the things specifically that you hear from people about Christian radio? Specifically, we're talking about KHIS and the other parts of KHIS.
Right. Yeah, it's a great question, because and as you were talking about the share-a-thon, we do get a lot of calls from people at that time that, you know, about how a song plays at just the right time. It gets them through their day. It uplifts them. There's a particular story that I'm thinking of that I don't know if any other story has ever been able to top it. I mean, we've had some amazing stories, so I'm not trying to downplay anybody's story, trust me.
Yeah.
But we had a listener and supporter now that was going through a very, very, very difficult time. And she was contemplating suicide. And they had company vehicles, and all the vehicles, anytime she got in one of the vehicles, it was always set to a country station that's a local country station here in Cape Girardeau. And but this one time she was getting in her car, one of the company cars, and she was planning on committing suicide that night. And KHIS was on the radio. And the things that were being talked about, the songs that were being played, kept her from committing suicide. Wow. And she is a faithful donor to this day. Her business is that they're an underwriter, which is they pay to advertise. It's underwriting because it is nonprofit, so they have to just kind of say, we support KHIS, that's all they can say because we're nonprofit, but even her business is a supporter of KHIS to this day. And she said KHIS and and the God through KHIS literally saved her life. So that's just one of those stories that you just never forget, and wow. Other people say they were on their way to St. Louis for surgery and they were scared, and the right song came on and gave them comfort and gave them peace, I mean, it's just, you can't deny the power of music and the power of God's word in music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's powerful. I'm just listening to your first story about someone who's saying that she was ready to end it all, but for that music and that moment, I can imagine that if there was ever a time when you're like, I don't feel like working, I'm so, there's no doubt that what you do matters. There's not, I mean, what better way to find encouragement?
Right. That actually just happened to me this past fall. We always host a concert at the SEMO District Fair. And I've been on the radio long enough now as a DJ on Saturday afternoons that I've got people that listen to me on Saturdays and they know who I am. Yeah. But I didn't know that, because you're just kind of thinking, oh, it's just one shift. I'm only on there on Saturday afternoons. No one's listening at that time, And I was walking through the arena building there and at the fair, and I was talking with someone, and she looked at me and she recognized my voice, and she was like, "Are you Kristi King on the radio station?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You have no idea how much you've helped me."
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Those times that you think that you have no more to give, or you have nothing else to say, and you feel like that you're repetitive, or you feel like that you're not making a difference. And then somebody comes along and says, "You have no idea how much you've helped me. You've made me laugh. You've made me cry. Your evening encouragements that you talk about, the songs that you played has helped me." And so, I mean, for your listeners, I want to say, if you're involved in something, and you feel like, and you're involved in some kind of ministry, and you feel like giving up, don't give up. Do not give up, because even if there's only one person that you can minister to and change their life, give them encouragement, it's worth every minute of your time.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. And the thing about, even though I said I'm not a music person, I mean, I'm constantly moved by music. I'm constantly,
Yes.
I'm constantly touched by music. The song, whether I'm at church and a song is played and it's like, oh my goodness, praise God. I hear you, God, through the song. I can't deny that, it is powerful. And I think, I know that's why the enemy, those, and people of faith know what I'm talking about when I say the enemy likes to work through music also.
Yes.
To tear down, to do the opposite of what KHIS and other stations are doing and churches are doing and worship teams are doing. The enemy wants to bring in that music that would cause someone to be depressed, cause someone to commit suicide,
Right.
we can look back through the Bible and see how music plays a huge impact, and so what you're doing is you're battling even the powers of darkness.
Absolutely.
By bringing,
absolutely. 24/7.
Yeah.
There was a time I was asked to be the overnight DJ on the weekends. And that was kind of my intro to being a DJ. I was learning. I wasn't very good at it yet. And that was kind of like their way of getting me trained, was by putting me on the overnight weekends.
Yes.
And I was kind of, not going to lie, I was like, oh man, nobody listens at that time. It's like, we're talking literally in the middle of the night, like 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., on Friday and Saturday nights. And I was like, no, Kristi, that's wrong. That was wrong thinking, because it was like somebody told me, they said nothing good happens in the middle of the night. That's when trouble happens. That's when people are up and they're depressed. They're up, having issues. It's usually in the middle of the night. And you have no idea who you might be ministering to at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night.
And I'll praise you in the storm, and I will lift my hand, 'cause you are who you are, no matter where I am, and every tear I cry, you hold in your hands, you've never left my side, and though my heart is torn, I will praise you in the storm, and though my heart is torn.
And I was like, all righty then. It was a check in my spirit. God was checking me, because I was having the wrong attitude. I was like, well, they're always listening. Well, yeah, but what if that one person is listening at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you said that one thing that kept them from killing themselves, or kept them from making a huge mistake? You can't take, any time you get a chance to minister, you cannot take that for granted.
Yeah. It's so interesting how God does use music, because as you're talking and you're telling the story about the person who is going to commit suicide, this isn't a story about a radio station, but it is a testament to the power of music. And I've shared this before. And when I ministered, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this, Kristi, but I heard about someone who it was in the middle of the night. And he said that he felt the Lord woke him up and told him to open his door.
Yes.
Open his door and just as loud as he could to begin to sing that old song many of us have heard, I'm sure. There is power, wonder-working power. I won't sing it for you, but I could.
You could.
Yeah, there's power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. And he was just like, oh my goodness, that's ridiculous, right? But he just felt that pulling on his spirit, that he just, and so he just sucked it up and did it as loud as he could and went back to sleep, And I guess it was the next day when there was a knock on the door or ring at the, doorbell ringing, and the neighbor said, were you singing, that song in the middle of the night or whatever. And he had half looking like, oh my goodness,
Like, where's this going?
I don't know. It wasn't me. It was somebody else,
Yeah.
Who wants to admit that? He was screaming that out in the middle of the night. But anyway, the person said to him, he says, well, at that very time, I had a gun to my head and I was going to kill myself. And then there was that song. There is power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. And just that song, the Lord knew, and it was that song the Lord gave him. I don't know the whole story about why. God knows, but he was obedient to God, and a song.
And
of course, the song in and of itself, there are a lot of songs out there, but what you guys do at KHIS and what other Christian stations do and churches do, and this man did, the song that he gave himself to was with truth, was with the word. And that's where the power is.
Our motto for KHIS is his message in your music. 1079 and 89.9 KHIS, his message in your music.
HIS, right? His.
Yeah, exactly.
His message. And that's the key. It's the key.
That is the key. That is the key, because and God worked through music for that gentleman that yelled out his back door to keep,
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I was saying at the very beginning. How powerful music is, and songs and lyrics, and it's,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned concerts. You mentioned how KHIS has concerts. Who are some of the artists you've had?
Oh my goodness. That's a loaded question, because I've been with KHIS I started in 2015, and my first concert that I got to help with was the Newsboys. And that was so much fun. You were actually with me. That was an extremely fun concert. Crazy wild, and just very powerful. So Newsboys, we've had Crowder, we've had Jasmine Murray, we've had Natalie Grant, Citizen Way, Danny Goki, Jason Crabb. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. And these are concerts that we've hosted.
Right.
Yeah, we've had other concerts in the area that the KHIS will help advertise for, and we'll be there to be a presence of the local radio station having a presence. But the ones we've hosted, the ones I've just named off, are the ones we've hosted. Michael W. Smith. Oh my goodness, my mind just went blank. Reckless Love guy. Oh my goodness. Corey Asbury. Oh my goodness, my mind just went woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey Asbury. He was our most recent concert. He was the fair concert was our most recent concert. And we've had Zach Williams. We've had Kane, which was our most recent concert.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah,
So,
I feel like we've had a lot.
And so you, in your role, you've had an opportunity to meet and spend some time with these.
Absolutely.
artists.
Yeah, and what a privilege. And every time we have a concert, I'm kind of in charge of like the hospitality. I'm in charge of usually the volunteers, and I'm usually one of the runners. And for those of you listening that don't know what that is, that's just somebody that's available to go run these people wherever they need to go, back to the hotel, down to Planet Fitness. Just wherever a coffee shop. Wherever they want to go, we take them to where they want to go and then bring them back. So that's what a runner is. And so I'm in charge of all of that stuff there. And I always say, whenever at the end of the night, when I'm dog tired, because they wear you out. That's a very long day. But when I'm dog tired and I'm the most vulnerable, I am so thankful that I get to do what I get to do. Because for one day and one night, I get to be a part of somebody's ministry that are reaching millions of people daily with their talent and with the God-given talent and the music and the lyrics that they share. For one day, I get to be a part of their ministry. And I'm like, how cool is that?
And you also get to see their character.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times with these artists, they come and go. We don't know how they're living. We don't know how they treat other people. And they're singing Christian music, and so what have you observed along those lines? Yeah.
Everybody that we've had in they've been amazing people, down to earth, very kind, very gracious. Usually they'll say, this is one of the best we've been treated, or because we really try. We have been taught to do things with excellence. And so whenever we do things, we might go above and beyond what their expectation is, because that's the way we've been trained. And so that leaves a mark with them, and leaves a good taste, I guess you could say, with them, that they can go and they can tell their other artist friends, which is probably why we've had so many really good artists, because it's like, go to Kate, they'll treat you good, and I've gotten to know some of them personally, a few, and communicated with them a little bit. Ben Calhoun from Citizen Way, I've communicated with him some. Jasmine Murray, I've communicated with some. And so, I mean, you kind of develop like friendships with some of these people at times, if you make connections and stuff. And I have no complaints for anybody that we had. I mean, their characters are top notch, and they've been very godly people.
Okay, that's wonderful to hear. Your character is top notch, and they've been very godly people. And that's something, because
sorry, I kind of took the long way around to get to your answer.
No, you were answering it throughout, but that is so important, because when you're talking about an anointing, we're not just talking about, when you talk about a song that can change a life, you're not just talking about talent. You can go down to the local dive and find talent. What you can't always find is character, and you can't always find anointing.
Right.
And so, and I'm not saying every person who picks up a microphone is oozing anointing. That would be wonderful. But I'm saying that it's wonderful that in this local area and with KHIS, you guys have been able to bring in people who have exemplified the character of God that they sing about. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. That's so true. I mean, they'll be the first to pray with us, or want to spend time with us when we're all, working through the day and everything. And it's just been amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I wish I had more words, but I mean, it's it's been amazing.
It's good that you've had that experience with these.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So we're wrapping up. I so appreciate you sharing your story and the stories of other people as well. And man, I want to encourage people to allow all that God affords us, whether it's music all the time, or for me, music sometime, or whatever. God gives us tools so that we can find encouragement. And we are living in a world that increasingly seems to provide opportunities not to be encouraged. And so whatever we can do that's righteous and whole and encouraging and inspiring, we should be grabbing onto that, and so having you on to share that is a benefit, I think, to all people. I know, because I'm listening to your stories. But before you go, I want you to tell us where and how can people find
KHIS, stay in touch with KHIS?
Yeah, you can find us on the web, of course, khisradio.org. Within our website, you can listen live. You can check out, we have a community events calendar for those of you that are local. We have one of our coolest things that we have on our website is our prayer app. And you can literally go on there and put a prayer in, and people can go and look at that, and you can like the prayer, and you know that people are praying for you. And so it's kind of like KHIS's own prayer team, I guess you could say. So it's a really cool thing about our website. And then we also have an app, and our app is super slick. It's so easy to use, and you can do obviously you can listen live, and you can give on our app. You can, like right there, there's a little heart. You can actually give because we are a nonprofit. So we are definitely listener supported. So like I said, every penny that comes in, every penny goes out, I see it. And it all comes from supporters. It's not coming from anywhere else. Supports, it's the grassroots. So yeah, we have our app. If you just want to listen to KHIS and you have an Alexa, you can say, hey, Alexa, play KHIS. If you have Google Play, you can say, hey, Google Play, or hey, I don't have one, so I'm not 100% sure how that works. But you can say play on TuneIn, you know. But yeah, we have Facebook page, KHIS Radio. We have Instagram, so it's really easy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Same thing on Instagram.
Yeah. KHIS Radio. But really, I mean, you can find everything that you need to find, where to follow us and everything on our website, khisradio.org.
And if people want to donate, nothing's too small, nothing's too large, and they can do that on the website.
Absolutely. You can do that right there on our website. At the top, it says give. Click on give. It's safe. It's secure. And it's so true. No donation is too small.
Yeah. Or too big.
Yes.
Right. We don't want to limit God, right?
We are not going to limit God. I have seen big donations.
So big or small, it all matters.
It all matters.
And because of
appreciated.
And because of that, and of course the prayers that go on, we have testimonies like you shared tonight. Final thing, you're also a DJ, as you mentioned, not just a business manager. So specifically, how do people listen to Kristi King on KHIS?
Okay. Yeah, you can listen to me. I'm on Saturday afternoons from 12 to 6.
And that's Central Time.
At Central Time, 12 to 6 Central Time. And I actually just connected with a friend of mine in Alaska, Adele, and connected with her via text. And she was like, where can I listen to you? And so I sent her the link. So, so
all the way in Alaska.
All the way in Alaska. She was listening to me. She was listening to me all the way in Alaska. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, so 12 to 6 on Saturday afternoons, and just go to the app and you can listen 12 to 6 Central.
So, all right. Thank you so much for.
You're very welcome.
For being on the Adrienne Ross Show.
Yeah. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this. I really, truly enjoyed it. And seriously, it was an honor to get to be on here.
Well, of course, because when I say of course, I mean, of course, I want you on here because I'm a regular contributor.
Absolutely.
To KHIS. Also because obviously I know it's important, and I know it's valuable, and I know it's sowing into good ground.
Absolutely.
So,
I'm sorry. I was just saying, people don't realize how costly it is to run a radio station, and it does. It takes a lot of money, just even for insurances and your bills and licensing. I mean, it just all kind of works down. So again, any amount helps to donate, and thank you, Adrienne, for being a supporter and realizing that you are sowing into good soil.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we're partnering together. I mean, people of faith, people who love the Lord, Christians, You know, this is you know, you guys are doing the heavy lifting, but we all play a role in getting the gospel out, and the Lord is so creative. He gives us many ways to do that, you know. So
Amen.
So thank you again for being a guest on the Adrienne Ross Show. And I said we were leveling up. I think we leveled up, guys. I think we leveled up. This is some good stuff right here. So Kristi, thank you again. And everybody else, will catch you on the next episode of the Adrienne Ross Show. God bless you abundantly.
The Adrienne Ross Show was produced and edited in the BMG studio. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod. Find more episodes of The Adrienne Ross Show at thebmgnetwork.com and major podcast platforms. Be sure to tune in regularly. You don't want to miss even one episode.